friend Kirsten are going on a marketing trip of sorts to New York, New York, where we will be going to the Meltwater Summit. So I'm excited to not only learn more about the trends that are happening, you know, AI, buzzwords, things like that, but I'm excited to spend time with my friend, to explore, to be independent. So join me as I pack and get ready for my trip. Let's do this. The next day, I was picked up and dropped off with Kirsten at the Kansas City Airport, or MCI. I like the MCI Airport. The art pieces around is so beautiful and fun to look at. Plus, the airport itself is very walkable compared to other larger airports. We had a little snack before we went to the gate. Then we went to our gate and we kicked off our trip with the craziest occurrence. Our gate agent informed us that they would be holding a competition. There were kisses in a jar, and if you guessed the closest, then you would get upgraded seats for you and your traveler friend. And so I told Kirsten, and we both made our guesses, and she made the closest guess.
All right, come on up, guys. I'll get to your seats, okay?
Oh my god. She's insane. This is our room. This is it. This is what it is. What are we doing, Kirsten?
Going to dinner.
Where are we going? While we were waiting to be seated, we witnessed this group of chicks dine and dash. I was so pissed for the waiter. The chicks had like $3 in cash. Definitely left a tip for the waiter because we felt bad for him. The food itself wasn't mind-blowing or anything, so I wouldn't recommend going. I would probably save your money for something even better, but I was just craving banchan, so. On the way back, we saw a lot of street performers, but we never stopped to see them because it's just not my thing. What was really surprising to me was how safe I felt in Times Square. The lights are so bright that you can see everything that's going on. So it was surprisingly comforting to have like that much light at night and being able to see everything. We ended our day in our tiny hotel room where we quickly learned that the AC wasn't reliable, so it was hot. And then when we took our hot showers, the vent wasn't working, so the moisture stayed in our room, so it was hot and it was moist, which did not equal a good sleeping experience, but luckily we were tired from the day anyways and slept through it. The next day, we took a morning stroll to find breakfast. Eventually, we were coaxed into Bread's Bakery. I got a mushroom quiche and we both got delicious iced chai lattes. I love experiencing all kinds of things. And so when a friend recommended I look into the Big Red bus tours or any bus tour, I was like, yes, I love that idea. Basically, what happens is you pay for a pass, and depending on what level you get, you can have different attractions. But we just got the cheapest version for one day, and it goes around on a loop that crosses paths with a bunch of different attractions. And so we saw all kinds of things in one day. I highly recommend starting as early as the bus allows so that you're not wasting time stuck in traffic, because you will. As the day progresses, you will get stuck in traffic.
One point in history, there's an architect that was make it tall and make it all glass.
We walked around Chinatown and Little Italy, where we experienced the symphonies of New York. What you don't see recorded is how much we struggled finding bathrooms. We would go into cafes and buy a coffee just so that we would have a clean bathroom to go to. Highly recommend that method. Also, the Apple Store in Soho has a really nice bathroom. Highly recommend. One of the biggest foods we wanted to try was bagels. That was at the tippity top of our list. So obviously, we had to try some bagels.
They do like full bagel.
What's the rating?
7.5.
Okay.
So it doesn't have as much flavor, but maybe I'm not far enough back out.
Yeah.
After riding the bus one day, that's really good. I don't know. I give it about the same. I see what you mean.
We went to a Chobani cafe because it was so hot.
Ooh, that does hit.
I didn't know Chobani had cafes like that, so it was a really fun experience to see branding, the Chobani branding in a physical space like that. I appreciate that as a graphic designer who enjoys environmental design. We went to other places too, but we don't know all the names of them. We were just like happy to be there. We saw the Empire State Building. We saw the World Trade Center. We saw a cathedral on one of the days, but here's a picture of that. Here are the other things. Boom, bam. That evening, we met up with Kirsten's sister-in-law to eat fancy sushi at Sushi Lab. It was by far one of the fanciest places I've been to in a while. And then we went to another rooftop bar to eat tasty oysters. The only bad thing about them was that they were so small. Why were they so small? I guess I'm just used to Texas-sized oysters. And we ended our day there. The next day, we didn't have a bus pass, but we did want to go to the Met, or the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It was not that bad of a walk from Times Square, so we said, yes, let's do it so that we can walk around Central Park and see what that looks like. If you love art, you might want to dedicate a whole day just for the Met. It's huge. We set aside 4 hours, and there was still so much to see. It was so huge and took us at least 1 hour to figure out. I watched a video on YouTube, I'll link it maybe below, of things that were recommended to do. And one of the things was go to the Met and go to the rooftop so that you could see Central Park from like a higher angle and you can like see more of Central Park. Turns out the day that we went, there was an extreme heat warning. So the rooftop garden was closed or something. So after spending like almost an hour trying to find that, we couldn't even go there. So what a waste of time. We could have enjoyed the art more. And we were on a time crunch because shortly after that, we were going to go see Water for Elephants on Broadway. The line was intense. It circled around the block. The play? Incredible. I came in with no expectations, as I try to do with books. And imagine getting to see a man turn from a crusty old guy and in the blink of an eye look like a handsome youthful lad. Those who know me know that I'm generally not a confrontational person, but during the show, there was a teenager sitting in front of me, and she would get on her phone to record things on her Snapchat at like peak show moments, and I was just like, seriously, dude? And we've spent good money to come see this play, only for this person to ruin our immersion, and it pissed me off. And so me and my friend complained about it during intermission, and then our neighbors, our seat neighbors, complained about it, and I was like, oh, okay, we're in solidarity. We all hate this person. I'm gonna say something. If they do it again, I'm going in. The next time it happens, boom, I kick their chair. And then I kept kicking her chair every time she did it because she kept doing it, and eventually she stopped. But it's just like, come on. Outside of that, I highly recommend, if you can afford it, go see a Broadway play. I'd do it again. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Another day in paradise. We finally got to start our transition to a better hotel situation. We dropped our luggage at the hotel and made our way to find a bodega and eat pastrami and corned beef rolls for breakfast. The meat was drier than what I'd hoped, but it was still a bomb sandwich. Fueled by a sandwich, we went to the American National History Museum, another space we could have spent all day at. We picked our favorites to look at that day, and we hit every floor. My favorite areas were the fossils and like evolution and everything, and then the insectarium, because I work in entomology. You just gotta. I think New York is a magical place that brings people together that you haven't seen in a long time. I swear, I got messages from 3 people that were like, I'm in New York, that's so crazy, we should hang out. And those were the biggest events for that day. And after that, we went to the Meltwater Summit, which was very interesting. Obviously, the keynote speaker, Ryan Reynolds, it was very interesting to see him in person. I would say I wish that his talk was more inspirational. It was really just a conversation because it was a fireside chat. So there was no real structure. The most advice we got was, I don't even remember. It wasn't that memorable because they were so boring. I think my biggest takeaways were I need to seek out more education related marketing, because while we were there was a really cute education group where we could talk together, and honestly, the best information I got were from other people in education marketing. So that was really insightful to me. I also learned about Google Gemini. We learned more about AI and how to prompt properly. There was a session that was specifically for higher education, and I got a really good report for free from that. Lastly, and one of the biggest things I learned about was social listening. And that is where AI will read the news stories that are happening and give you like a report on what's trending and what's happening in the news. And that would just be so helpful for listening to my university and what's happening in Kansas. I spend so much time on social media and it feels wasteful at times because my time could be spent elsewhere, but sometimes you can only catch things if you are really watching the feed. So social listening was really eye-opening to me, and now I have Google Alerts set so that I could catch at least some of the things that are happening in my community. That was the biggest thing that impacted me from the summit. I won't go again. I think next time maybe I'll just go to Adobe or something more skills-based. This was one of the best trips I'd ever taken in my whole life, and I hope I never forget all the wonderful memories I made with my friend. And so that is really the crux of why I'm making this vlog. To my friend Kirsten, thank you so much for being the best travel partner I could have ever asked for. And I hope that we can be lifelong friends.